My brother got his ex-girlfriend and his current girlfriend pregnant within a month of each other. The current girlfriend was planning to get an abortion, but when she found out his ex was pregnant, she decided to keep the baby. Our parents are quietly horrified because both girls are planning to mooch off them and have set their sights on their townhouse and country house. My brother is a complete idiot. At 30, he works as a courier and doesn't think about the future at all. And I'm quietly looking for jobs in another city so they don't turn me into a free babysitter, like for my screwed up family. Once I had a boil on my penis. The doctor told me straight up not to masturbate for a while, but I jerked off through the pain, and then I came from both holes at once. Most of my classmates got their driver's licenses, but I'm such a dumbass and never went. And what do you think? I take pictures behind the wheel of my dad's old Ford and tell everyone it's mine. Some girl asked me for a ride, hinting at sex, so of course I couldn't refuse. I drove my dad's car without a license. As a result, I crashed into a security barrier, and instead of getting intimate, I got my ass kicked by my dad. My dad brought me a glass and told me to gargle. It recently had a sore throat. I started gargling, but it tasted like some sour bitter bullshit. I asked, "What the hell is this?" He answered that it was his urine diluted with water. I threw up all over his pants. He started cursing and said it was fucking apple cider vinegar. My husband and I invited a friend over with her date. We had dinner and then drifted off to different rooms. At night, her guy barges into our room and asks if we have any condoms. We didn't give him any because we were already asleep and couldn't be bothered to get up. A month later, my friend blames me, saying she's pregnant and that we have to pay for her abortion. A friend of mine recently told me this story. One day he and his buddy went out for a walk, and my friend stuck his penis through a hole in his pocket. Then he wet his hands and asked his buddy to take the matches out of his pocket. The result, his buddy gave his penis a yank. I was walking in the park again after university. Because of my headphones, I didn't immediately notice the huge dog charging straight at me. Before I even had time to get scared, the creature had already knocked me to the ground and started shaking me. By the time the owner ran up and pulled the dog off me, I had already wet myself from fear and could barely speak. And that asshole told me, "My little girl only goes after bad people, so you deserved it." I lay there on the asphalt, numb from shock and pain, while people walked by and just glanced over. At night, my 2-month-old daughter suddenly developed a fever and started having trouble breathing. An ambulance. The hospital. I was terribly worried about the child. I was going out of my mind. They couldn't figure out the exact diagnosis no matter what. Coming into the room for another checkup, the doctor asked if I had baptized my daughter and which friends or relatives had seen her. And then, in all seriousness, he informed me that it was the evil eye and that it was my own fault, since everyone knows you shouldn't show a baby to anyone until they're 3 months old. I was in a store with my girlfriend. There were these sales assistants walking around, and my girlfriend has a slight lazy eye and wears glasses. One sales assistant said to her, "Having trouble deciding? Your eyes running all over the place from the selection?" I punched him in the face and ended up in the police station. Like for the absolute psycho. I was having sex with my girlfriend, and near the end, I convinced her to give me a blowjob and came in her mouth without warning. Without hesitation, she spat it all out onto the linoleum, looking at me indignantly. "I'll wipe it up later. It's worth it," I thought, and we both went to the kitchen together. After smoking, I decided to go back to the room to get my t-shirt, slipped, and broke my arm. We have this one teacher who arrives at school in a brand new Mazda 6, and the bastard at the same time takes free juice and food from the elementary school's lunch table. A week ago, I went to the dentist. I needed a tooth drilled and anesthesia injected. Anesthesia doesn't work on me, so the doctor gave me some pure alcohol with water to drink. In the end, I got pretty drunk in the chair and had some serious hallucinations, and when I was leaving, I threw up in the hallway. I like this kind of anesthesia. I had a fight with my boyfriend. We lived together. It's already the 3rd day we haven't been talking, just silently jerking off by ourselves. We lie in the same bed, watching porn, sort of punishing each other with lack of sex. Yesterday, I saw a homeless woman who was sitting on a bench trying to breastfeed a puppy. My ex left me, but I couldn't accept it. I beat myself up, hitting my face, slammed my head against the door frame, and then went to have my injuries documented and filed a report against him. Now he's facing criminal charges, and I'm blackmailing him. If he doesn't pay me 10,000, I won't withdraw the complaint. Like for the scumbag. I told my boyfriend I wanted a new iPhone. He left, came back with a roll of wallpaper, laid it on the floor, grabbed one end, and unrolled it all the way down the hallway. Then he came up to me again and said, "That's how much you've pouted." A dude at a party decided, for a dare, to vape with his ass. As a result, at that moment, another dude punched him in the ass and the vape tore his rectum. I had a boyfriend once. It was a short-lived relationship. We made a deal. He'd eat me out, and I'd suck him off. Well, in the end, I dumped him right after he went down on me. The ultimate humiliation was when my uncle got me a dodgy prostitute for my 18th birthday so I'd lose my virginity, and my dick wouldn't get hard. And while my uncle fucked her, I was jerking off to their moans in the other room, still couldn't get it up. I love texting with girls. Once my wife's sister got into our chat and read there that I love eating girls out and submitting to them. As a result, I had a long talk with her. The outcome of the conversation: I give her head and fulfill her various wishes. My girlfriend is 27, I'm 21. I moved in with her. I've been dreaming for a long time of putting my jewels in her butt, but she kept refusing, and so on. So, I'm home alone. I wanted to borrow some money from her for groceries, and then I find in her purse a stool test for parasites. I finished school a year ago and still looked like a kid. Then last summer I found out about minoxidil, and it worked great for me. I grew a beard like a lumberjack's, got myself a trendy haircut, went to a barbershop, and now I can't get rid of the girls. They flirt and even approach me on the street. But the real kicker is something else. I went to a club with my buddies, and there our former English teacher hit on me. I fucked her in the bathroom, came, and then I said, "Miss Wright, don't you recognize me?" You should have seen how shocked she was. So if you want a beard, you know what to do. Just be ready to put up with applying it twice a day for 8 or 9 months. Once I suggested to a girl that we take a shower together, and she agreed. When we were already in the bathroom, she turned on the shower, and out of habit I started pissing. Well, that's one thing, but she just smiled and started pissing too, and even sprayed me with her stream. Now I feel awkward talking to her. I don't know why. Yesterday, I decided to make an avocado salad. I peeled the avocado and went online to look for a recipe based on what I had in the fridge. In the grand tradition of the internet, my cooking adventure ended with me masturbating with the avocado pit on the kitchen floor, and my grandmother walked in on me. I was in a clothing boutique once and got hit with an emergency need to shit. The bathroom was 3 levels down. No way I'd make it. So, I grabbed a pair of boots, headed to a fitting room, did my business right in the boots, and then placed them neatly on the display shelf. My sister is 11 years old. I was talking to her about the future. I was saying that to achieve anything, you have to study a lot. In response to my remark, she declared that in the future she would become a blonde, marry a rich man, and that I would even be asking her for money to borrow.